G'day, I'm Corey Wild and welcome to the swamps of Savannah, Georgia. Here we are on another wildlife adventure. I've come to this spectacular location to check out some of its awesome habitat, diverse species, ultimately to teach other people about the animals that live in this area. What we've got here is the cottonmouth or water moccasin, one of the most feared species of snakes in this area, who's really not that scary at all, is quite placid to tell you the truth. So join me on a wildlife adventure and let's go and see what we can find. And I tell you what, they're bitey. They're bitey. Oh, I can hear another gecko. Oh, there we go. That's a toke. Toke gecko. Wow. That's another male. This one's also a male. We heard him calling out. We went looking for him and found him. The females don't call out, just the males. Who said gecko hunting wasn't going to be painful? Look at that, that's amazing. Look how placid they are. People with arachnophobia, forget it. Look at these guys. We will relocate these spiders as we like to relocate as much wildlife as we can and preserve it. What a beautiful spider. Have a look at the pattern on that. Oh, wow, what a great feeling releasing such beautiful big spiders back into a natural environment. Saved them from the wok. This is the Equatorial spitting cobra, and these snakes have evolved to spit venom up to 2 meters or sometimes further. But he'll also bite as well, as he just demonstrated. Oh, wow, he's quick. These snakes lay up to 23 eggs, and they're found throughout Southeast Asia. You get some nice shots of this snake. Well, that's a nice shot. Bit of greenery in the background. They don't have the big hinged fangs like the vipers do, but they pack a good punch. And he's got about 60 teeth in that mouth. He's got a lot of grip on there, he's right on me. And if I let him get another coil around my neck, without backup, a 4 metre one of these snakes could probably overpower most grown men. He's also got him on the top jaw. Now I had to turn away then, because if I breathe towards his face, those heat sensors can pick up like a quarter of a degree temperature change. And my warm breath on there might make him strike, might cause him to strike. And he has very strong pincers. That's why his venom doesn't need to be that potent, because he can overpower his prey with those pincers there. Scorpions have generally got a fairly good nature. He also glows iridescent under black lights. So he's in the strike position there. He's loaded up, curling up. These things have got a great strike range, and if not treated, you'll certainly die from a bite from this snake. So that hissing, with a bit of luck, you'll hear it and he'll warn you that he's there, because usually he relies on his camouflage and he'll stay where he is. So if you're walking in territory where there's vipers or death adders, rattlesnakes, best to wear jeans and boots. Okay, here we are, guys. We've just been called into our old mate's chicken farm, and he's got a, looks like a reticulated python's come in to eat his chickens. Okay. Kalpat guy. Ini. Okay. Job done. Let's rock and roll. Bye bye, Cobra car. This is what we've been looking for. One of the most venomous species of spider in the world, the red-backed spider from Australia. Closely related to the black widow. You can see that famous red stripe on the back there. Easy to distinguish this spider. Up until the 50s, there was no antivenom for these spiders, and they were responsible for at least 10 deaths in Australia. In this species, it's the female that's the most venomous rather than the male, whereas in the funnel web spiders, the male's actually 5 times more venomous than the female. Now, the venom from these are extremely painful, cause pain, sweating, vomiting, can cause paralysis, can cause death as well. Definitely do not try this at home. Believe it or not, I've been catching these spiders since I was about 6 years old. Just remember, these spiders are found right throughout Australia, and there's a good chance there could be one in your backyard. So always make sure you look under things when you grab them, and if you leave them alone, more than likely they're going to leave you alone. I found a crazy critter down there. I'm going to need the gloves for this one. It's a bit spiky. Well, we've been for a swim around, we've found a few Cory Wild crazy critters. This has probably got to be the craziest critter we've found. This is the Mantis Shrimp. He's a species of crustacean. He's an arthropod, has an exoskeleton. And the amazing thing about these creatures is he has this prey mantis arm which he uses to snatch his prey. Ooh. Ooh. Danger, danger. Ooh. Come on. Monocle cobra, you can see the light monocle on the back of his neck. Don't try this at home. The Cobra. He wanted me for afternoon tea. Awesome stuff. I'm Cory Wild. Catch you next time. Cobra actually follows the movement. He can't hear the music at all. On the back of the head like that. I would not recommend anybody trying this. Oh look, there's a snake over there. Have a look, he's just cruising along. Whoa, that's cool. Have a look at that bad boy. Awesome, this is Steganotis. This is a slaty grey. And he's primarily nocturnal. He comes out at night time looking around for frogs. They also eat lizard eggs. And they're a shiny snake. And they generally come out after the rains. Now the males grow up to 1.4 metres, which is pretty big. It's a pretty big snake. Females only get to about 1 metre in length. He's got a creamy underbelly and he's got a pink tongue. Now these snakes are primarily terrestrial, on the ground most of the time. They can climb, however. All snakes can climb, except for sea snakes and file snakes. They're semi-phosphorial, so what he does during the day is he'll go under logs, under rocks, under thick leaf litter, and he'll sleep during the day when it's hot. And they'll come out at night time hunting around for the frogs. Now they also actually eat lizard eggs, which is interesting. So with that forked tongue you can pick up the scent and he'll cruise around and he'll find where the lizards have laid their eggs. Now there's a Gilbert's dragon up here, which is one of the agamas, and they lay clutches of 7 to 8 eggs, and this snake will source them out and eat them. I've also seen videos of these snakes actually trying to eat centipedes, which is really interesting because there's not many snakes in Australia that eat arthropods. He's a fairly common snake in the Northern Territory and also over in parts of Queensland. You have to be very careful because they look like Cryptophis, which is the eastern small-eyed snake, and the northern small-eyed snake, which also come out at night time. They're highly venomous and they look very similar to the slaty grey. And they have this beautiful sheen, shiny colour to them. They have a little bit more of a red tinge on the venter scales, but they only grow to 50 centimetres, whereas this guy will grow to 1.4 and a female will grow to about 1 metre. So if it's over 70-80 centimetres, more than likely it's going to be a slaty grey. The slaty grey's distribution is around Darwin, right across the Gove. It's not found through the Gulf at all. It's found up Cape York Peninsula. The eastern small-eyed snake is found pretty much very close to Cairns, right down the east coast, right through New South Wales, and even just over the border into Victoria. It's a big female rasping cricket. Have a look at that. And it also looks like she's got a big stinger on the back there, but that's the ovipositor used for egg placement. Now these crickets will produce silk. They'll also build a little nest up in the trees, sewing some leaves together, and that's where they'll sleep during the day when it's too hot to come out. And then she'll come out at night time, cruising around, hunting for other insects. And you can see those feet and legs there are amazing. They're amazing climbers. And also she has wings. So she's not a king cricket. King crickets can't fly, they don't have wings. She's not a wetter. She's a rasping cricket. And they also use stridulation. That's where she gets her name from, the rasping cricket. They'll stridulate by rubbing their noise-making body parts together. Some species will use their feet, others will use flaps on their back or underneath to make that noise. As we know with crickets, those antennae are going constantly. Big eyes, obviously used at night time to help locate stuff. They'll have that nest up in the tree. They'll come out at night time hunting, then they'll actually navigate their way back to that nest and sleep in it during the day. The ovipositor is used to push into organic matter, make a bit of a hole so she can lay her eggs in there. Hexapod, 6 legs, long antennae, don't bite me, big beetle crunching mandibles. Cool cricket, awesome feet, long legs, great climbers, they've got little hooks And little pads have got 3 different sections on their feet. They're actually able to wrap those around even the smallest of twigs when they're climbing up through the branches of trees or cruising along through the spinifex. Cleaning the antennas one by one. Grabs it, pulls it down, folds it, cleans it right to the end, right to the tip, and then flicks out. There's all sorts of other crawlies getting around at the moment too. I'm just hoping I don't get a big centipede run up my leg while I'm sitting here in the middle of the bush. Pretty awesome little beastie, hey? Not everyone's cup of tea, but they play an important role in the ecosystem like all animals. Alrighty, we're just out cruising around at night time doing a bit of spotlighting, and we've come across this king brown snake on the road. Awesome stuff. Check him out, he's an awesome specimen. He's probably about 4 foot long, juvenile. And he'd be out cruising around at night time now, hunting, looking for reptiles and frogs. It's the hotter part of the season and it's hot at night time, and a lot of our venomous snakes will become nocturnal over the summer months. And then of course after the rains we get a lot of frogs coming out as well. So these guys are primarily reptile specialists, but they'll also eat frogs as well. They love lizards and they'll eat other snakes. He's also quite happy to eat other venomous snakes like brown snakes, particularly the western brown out here. But this bloke is actually from the black snake family, Steganotis australis. Now brown snakes are from the Pseudonaja family, meaning false cobra. But this guy's venom, it has more hematoxins rather than the neurotoxins that a lot of the brown snake family has. So he's from the black snake family, even though his name's the king brown. Now he's Australia's second largest species of venomous snake, growing to 2.5 meters. He's second only to the coastal taipan in size, and he's quite a common snake. But believe it or not, they're quite placid and they're very reluctant to bite, unless unfortunately you'd have one in a confined space where it can't move away from you. That's when they'll become more defensive and more bitey. But as you can see, he's just cruising around doing his own thing. He's not worried about trying to bite me or chase me or attack me or any of this sort of stuff. He's just cruising around out here in the bush doing his thing. And I'm a couple meters away from him and I have absolutely nothing to worry about. What a beauty. The king brown. Another name for him also is the mulga snake, because he lives in the mulga country, and we're actually surrounded by mulga trees right now, which is a species of acacia. There's another species as well, which is Pseudotis butleri. Haha, awesome stuff. King brown snake, the mulga. Let's go and see what else we can find. Black light out now. Wow. Have a look at that. Looks familiar, doesn't it? Anyone ever seen the movie Predator before? There you go. So this little mottled tree scorpion from the Buthidae family. And scientists are still trying to figure out exactly why they actually glow. Probably something to do with their diet. And these guys are nocturnal, obviously. They cruise around at night and they're more often than not found on trees and under bark and under rocks. They're not much of a burrowing species like our other Iridacus and other desert scorpions. These guys like to hide under bark. And the Buthidae family has what it appears to be a double barb. You can also see it has long slender claws and kind of a fat tail, so this guy's venom is probably more potent than that of the scorpions around this area that have the larger pincers. So this guy has the small pincers. He needs to rely on his venom to overpower his prey. That's what this little guy looks like without the black light. He's got great camouflage. Woo! He's only a little bloke. Tiny little fella. You can see that camouflage is pretty awesome. Just fits in perfectly with the sand. Let's go and see what else we can find. Check this out. This is a trap for young players. Spring loaded, waiting to happen. Jumping cacti. Now, if you just brush your skin on there, or brush up against it, it's got you. And that just comes off. And here's one I prepared earlier. Right in the end of the finger is the worst place to have it. Now the problem is, the more you roll it around, the more spines stick in. And you'd ask yourself, why on earth would this plant evolve to be like that? Is there really a God? And the answer is, it's actually a dispersal thing. This plant's evolved to have these bust off little pieces, and in the right conditions, this in the right place can actually establish and regrow, and could also have something to do with extra pollination or seed dispersal, like a lot of the flora does. And it's got little barbs on the end, and they stick in there pretty good. And I tell you what, the best thing to take this off is probably a Leatherman, but I don't have one. I've got to deal with this one first, because it's stinging a little right in the end. So probably the best way to do it is to put it against a rock. If I roll it around too much, I'll put that there. Drop my knife in. Okay, there's actually a herd of camels out there. The sun's just going down over the dune. It's becoming night time out here in Central Australia, and a lot of the reptiles will actually become nocturnal in the summertime because it's so ridiculously hot during the day that they'll actually become nocturnal. So species that you don't usually get out at night time, like blue-tongue lizards and brown snakes, are coming out as well. So it's time to go and check out what awesome nocturnal animals we can find out here in Central Australia. Awesome, check it out. This is Levis from the knobtail gecko family. What a beauty. Nocturnal desert nighttime predator. Hunts down insects and crickets and pounces on them, crunches them up and has them for dinner. If it's too hot in the night, he'll stay in his burrow, and if it's too cold, he'll also stay in his burrow. These geckos have got real big buffy heads, and they're pretty awesome predators. They cruise around in the night time and they stalk insects, and they get up high on their feet, they stalk right in, and then they pounce on them. All sorts of insects at night, bush crickets, and you can see he's got that big eye there. And it looks like he has eyelid, but it's actually just an eyebrow, helps him with the sand. They don't actually have eyelids, geckos, and the way that they clean their eyes instead of blinking is they actually lick them with their tongue. Definitely see where he gets his name from, with a cute little knob there on the end of his tail. The knobtail gecko. So you can see these geckos sit up really high. They've got long limbs that enables them to get across the sand. During the day it's obviously too hot in the desert for a gecko with such sensitive skin, so they'll go into their burrows during the day and they'll chill out down in the cool parts of the earth, and then they come out at night time on the warmer nights and hunt their prey. Here he goes off into the night to look for his next meal.